We will unravel the mystery behind the most enigmatic character in the game, the true identity of the old monkey on Mount Huaguo. There is currently a lot of speculation online, with no consensus in sight. To uncover the truth, one must immerse themselves in the story. First, let me clarify that I am referencing the Chinese interpretation from the content creator 1900, as I believe it is worth translating into English for a broader audience. Let's start with the Guanyin Theory. In the Black Bear Guai's journal entries, he recounts his experience as the guardian deity of Bodhi Peak, being summoned to fight Wukong. Unlike the other Yaoguai kings, he feels inferior in strength. However, the Lung princess reassures him, saying that besides the 5 Yaoguai kings, a sacred divinity will join the battle. The reason he was called upon was because Guanyin wanted to ensure one of her own was present, as she didn't want this opportunity to fall into the hands of outsiders. With this in mind, when we revisit the game's opening battle, a new interpretation emerges.
Stay back! Stupid dog! Mark this. He's not just any monkey. He's a monkey of merit. A monkey was made Buddha once. None other than me can challenge him to a duel.
It becomes evident that Erlang was deliberately protecting Wukong, using Wukong's merit and future status as a Buddha to prevent other celestial soldiers from intervening. After just a few rounds, Wukong comments on the blinding sunlight and suggests they fight in the mountains. Sure enough, Buddhist light begins to appear in the sky, and someone starts chanting the tight headband spell. This magical artifact was given to Guanyin by the Buddha when she went to the east to find someone to retrieve the scriptures. Later, Guanyin passed the headband and the spell to Tang Sanzang. Clearly, Guanyin is a major player behind this fight, as it is her responsibility to recapture the escaped Buddha. After completing the game, we unlock a new ability, Life-Saving Strand, which, in the original story, was also given to Wukong by Guanyin. However, Guanyin couldn't have stayed on Mount Huaguo for 500 years. Moreover, in the old monkey's journal entries, he rattles off 4 different names. According to the conventions of classical Chinese literature, it's clear that these 4 are not the correct answers, at least not entirely. Next is the popular Jinchanzi Theory. Indeed, there are many clues in the game pointing to this theory. Jinchanzi, as a central figure in Journey to the West, has a surprisingly low presence in the game, yet the few glimpses we get offer significant information. First, his peers, Yellowbrow, mentions his whereabouts.
Ages ago, Jinchanzi and I were peers. Ever questing with goodwill, he was. His nature made him question the supremacy of us beyond mortal woe and grief. He deemed all souls could be akin to us. Why then do we tower whilst others merely kneel and offer? He asked. I told him the others are less than us. His misstep cast him back into the endless cycle. Reborn, he drew 3 disciples. But what did they change? One ended up a corpse, others fugitives. He too took to the shadows.
The one who died is, of course, Wukong, and the one who fled is Bajie. But the phrase, took to the shadow, is intriguing. Jinchanzi, who had banished from heaven, had no place to hide. All other significant locations were guarded by Yaoguai kings. So, to remain hidden, one could either live in seclusion like Erlang on Mount Mei, or blend into society like Yellow Lung, who transformed into a dragon embroidered on Yuan Shoucheng's robes and traveled the world with him. Alternatively, the final path is to hide in plain sight at the eye of the storm of the second havoc in heaven. Mount Huaguo, where there is a small temple in Water Curtain Cave called Peak Return, could imply a return to the start. After Jinchanzi was banished from heaven, he was reincarnated as Jiang Liuer and eventually became Tang Sanzang on the journey to retrieve the scriptures. Now, if he has taken the form of the old monkey, it would explain his reluctance each time he sends the destined one on their way. This theory of script swapping aligns well with game science's adaptation style, where the process may differ, but the outcome remains the same. For example, in the original story, it was Kang Jin Lung who helped Wukong escape the Golden Alms Bowl with his foot, while in the game, although Kang Jin Lung is controlled by Yellowbrow, he still accidentally breaks open the bowl. This is the essence of reincarnation. The journal entries repeatedly mention a bet, and in the entirety of Journey to the West, gambling is a recurring theme. Wukong gambles with Jinchanzi to save the ginseng fruit tree, and he gambles in the Chechi Kingdom to win rain. In Chapter 3 of the game, Yellowbrow is seen gambling with Jinchanzi.
You tarried in the mortal world for a good while. didn't you?
No.
Speak clearly.
Once again, I proved it to you, Jinchanzi.
You chose a means to an end, not to a proof. You sow chaos in hearts just for the sake of winning. How absurd and pathetic.
In the journal entries, the old monkey's attitude towards gambling mirrors that of Jinchanzi, emphasizing that the process matters more than the result. As long as enough destined ones embark on the westward journey, one will eventually fulfill the prophecy. In the Stone Egg memory, the old monkey calls Bajie Old Pig as a sign of familiarity, and the flowing ribbon at the back reflects his Buddha status. At this point, it seems almost certain that the old monkey is Jinchanzi, but there's a contradiction. Yellowbrow once mentioned that Jinchanzi strongly opposed the idea of gods and deities being elevated above others, while others were expected to bow and offer incense. In that sense, Jinchanzi's ideals align with Wukong's desire to defy the heavens, even to the point of sacrificing himself for his beliefs. Yet, here the old monkey is, putting the headband on Wukong, a deeply ironic twist. Moving on, let's discuss the conspiracy theory, which comes in two forms, an open conspiracy and a hidden one. Let's start with the open conspiracy. The 5 major senses are each monitored by one of the original Maishan brothers from the novel, with Erlang personally overseeing the mind relic. However, Wukong's mind relic is divided into 2 parts, a physical form and a spiritual one. The symbol for the mind relic is the headband, because in the Good Endings epilogue, there is a crucial piece of information hidden.
What does it matter if you become a Buddha? That headband has always been on your head.
Keep those eyes wide open. Watch me rip it off and break free.
As I mentioned earlier, Black Myth. Wukong is a recreation of Journey to the West. In the original story, Erlang is ordered to capture Wukong and, upon arriving at Mount Huaguo, tells Li Tianwang that he will wager with Wukong over who can better transform. He insists that no one else should intervene except his brothers. Similarly, in the game, Wukong wagers with Erlang, claiming that he will remove the headband. Erlang, along with his brothers, escorts the Destined One on their journey, watching to see whether Wukong can achieve this.
And only now do I understand that fight. No prestige can shackle him. No band can keep him caged. A mortal death for an unbound mind and will. May you not fail him.
The hidden conspiracy suggests that both Supremacy and Heaven are aware that Wukong is immortal and indestructible. As long as someone gathers the 6 relics, Wukong could potentially return to the world. So they sent an immortal to deceive the unaware Destined One. Their true intention may not be to find a new Wukong to serve them. In the bad ending where Erlang isn't fought, after the Destined One puts on the headband, they revert to the original state of the Stone Egg. Why then is the ending song Dare to Ask Where the Road Is specifically sung by a child? I believe this is a subtle hint that after failing to resurrect the true Wukong, the Destined One will reincarnate into a baby monkey, bringing everything back to square one. This endless cycle is meant to trap the threat of Wukong forever. When we return to the Stone Egg after completing the game without choosing reincarnation, we find that the broken shell has reverted to a stone monkey once again. If there is no new cycle, each time we play, the experience will be the same as the first, with others repeating the phrase, "Here you are again."
You come around, you're still as mischievous as ever, eh?
The same look again. A furry coat and a pinched face. Luck's all you've got. Great, another mute. Whatever.
However, the conspiracy theory lacks substantial evidence and remains speculative. This brings us to 1900's final analysis, the mind monkey theory. In the game, the 6 relics are named very deliberately, drawn from the 14th chapter of Journey to the West, titled The Mind Monkey Returns to Its True Path and The 6 Thieves Are No More. In that chapter, Wukong and his companions encounter 6 bandits, whose names correspond to the 6 relics in the game. In Buddhist teachings, the 6 roots, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and intent, are referred to as the inner 6 thieves, while the 6 external desires, form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and mental formations, are the outer 6 thieves. So let's revisit the dialogue the old monkey has in the stone egg with Bajie and the Destined One.
Since his early days, he'd had an eye for the finer things, and a will to wrest them from others. Laying his eyes on, then craving to seize their riches. No better than the black bear and Jinch, I say. Ears fume at unfavorable news. Nose in the air, feeling above others. Those who talk much of love will one day bite their tongues. They yearn for freedom, yet aspire to Buddhahood. They always want both. Yet nobody can, and nobody should.
If we listen carefully, the old monkey has been alluding to the internal and external 6 thieves that Wukong encountered on his path of cultivation. It was during this part of the novel that Tang Sanzang, guided by Guanyin, placed the headband on Wukong, beginning his journey of enlightenment. Furthermore, the root of intent inherently contains memory. The chaotic memories Wukong experiences within the stone egg are no less profound than those preserved by Erlang. What's particularly intriguing is that the memories from these 2 sides are completely opposite.
I hear tell this Yao Guai is I rank 1,000-fold above that king. As his sire he reveres me, and like a deity he serves me. How dare you think I'm his slave? Kindly chant the loosening spell and release that, Tathagata, so that you can take back my headband and I can be free. The court of that Yaguai said he knew somewhat. Surely he's no mere mortal. He must be somebody from the court. Great. The journey ends here. The lies to bring them down. Watch me rip it off. Break free!
The memories Erlang holds are either those wicked demons all came from heaven, or single-mindedly wanting to remove the headband, which stands in stark contrast to the purity and devotion to Buddhism found in the stone egg. When we face the broken shell and reach the final stage of the cutscene, the 2 Wukongs fought to an almost equal draw, reminiscent of Wukong's duel with the 6-eared macaque in the original story. Defeating the broken shell earns the achievement, a duel of destiny, 2 minds long fray leaves but 1 to stay, making it clear that the old monk represents Wukong's Buddha nature, holding on to the memories and wisdom gained on his path to enlightenment. The phrase in the old monkey's poem, "Ask not when fruits will ripen," is actually a direct quote from Wukong. The line, "Countless souls pursue the immortal quest, seeking the Tao, but truth is not addressed," refers to Wukong in his younger days. In the entire stone egg illusion, he rows a boat, ferrying souls because he is the void reflection of Wukong's memories, but with a crucial piece missing. No matter how hard he tries, he always returns to the starting point, like Sisyphus eternally pushing a boulder uphill. That's why, just before placing the headband on the Destined One, he lets out a sigh. On the other hand, Erlang preserves Wukong's fighting spirit and rebellious nature. Only by combining these 2 sides do we get a complete new Wukong, one who, at the final moment, remembers his true self without the headband. The old monkey once said, "When the 6 roots become one, the journey west will continue." But only after defeating Erlang can we see the true ending. The journey to the west is both a continuation and in reverse order. It means that the path the Destined One walks is no longer the old road of journey to the west, but a new one, unimagined before. It is the destiny Maitreya spoke of, one not bound by the heavens, and it is the consequence Yuan Shoucheng could not predict. As Erlang said,
I'm now at peace. Your journey, though, has just begun.
That's why the final chapter of the game is called Unfinished. Where does the road lead? It lies beneath your feet. After discussing so many theories, we can take a different perspective. Imagine the old monkey as a stand-in for the game developers themselves, a generation that grew up with Journey to the West, whose indelible memories of Wukong have inspired them to create this remarkable gaming world, guiding countless Destined Ones to retrace the path westward. Every player who finishes the game is fulfilling their destiny. and the title of the final chapter, Unfinished, reminds us that this is not the end. We will meet again in Black Myth. So, how much of my analysis do you agree with? Finally, if you enjoyed this commentary, be sure to like and share it with friends who enjoy in-depth exploration.